Yeah, no, I suppose, like I said, they were probably unforeseen circumstances that were coming about. We were just, I suppose, going along with training schedule as per usual, and then I suppose the news broke in on Thursday in relation to the schools closing, and all of a sudden, like, everything was going to shut down. So, it was disappointing, I suppose, because like anything, and like all the people that should be coming and supporting us, they were disappointed too, because they were looking forward to another league game. We were looking forward to the game against Mayo, and I suppose there was a lot of excitement there, and like you said, positivity there. But it's just, I suppose that was probably all taken away then by the COVID coming along. I suppose it's probably it comes from the team. I think, it's like under a new manager, things change. I suppose Pádraig comes in with his own structure, what he wants to do himself, and like that, it brings about changes in everyone. Like, you'll probably see different things from players you wouldn't have seen maybe in the last couple of years, and that's just, I suppose, down to maybe a style change, maybe, or something like that. Players can, I suppose, get a new lease of life maybe under a new manager, or new players come in as well. So, like, there's a lot of things that can change as well, and I suppose I've just benefited from the team doing well, and I think that's something that I'm given the title by Pádraig this year. I said Damien's had it the last couple of years, Gary O'Donnell, like, we've had some great captains there, so hopefully I can bring a bit of silver to the team as well. Yeah, no, it has. I suppose that's probably the biggest thing, is we've had to adapt to our training schedule. That usually you'd be going from work into training, like, as in that'll be your standard day. You get up maybe at 8 o'clock in the morning, and you're leaving the house maybe 10 to 9, 5 to 9, and next thing you wouldn't be home to maybe 10 o'clock, half 10. That was the usual way, because you'd be going from work to training. And I suppose it changed in that there was probably more time there, and more time can nearly be dangerous, because when you're part of a structure and you're part of the team plan, it's probably easy to fall into it. Whereas when you come out with it, then, like, you have to manage your own time, like you said, like, it's different. But I think, in fairness, we've handled it very well. Like, lads, we've all been kind of getting our own programs to do our own things, like, and I think each lad, I'd be chatting to a couple of lads, and everyone's kind of happy out doing their few bits, and it's tough at times, because I suppose you get the news of championship was pushed back till October, and then it's like a case of you're in the uncertainty of not knowing, and it can make it hard for lads to be training in that period of time. But I suppose each one kind of motivates each other, and everyone's doing the bit of run we have to do, and it's nice to be doing those things as well for ourselves, because that's what we would be doing naturally. I suppose we naturally, as players and as teammates, you're always kind of chatting to each other, because you become, I suppose, you're in a bubble really for a certain number of years, really. Like, you're in this GA bubble, and everyone talks to each other. There's so many forms of ways of talking, like, between Instagram, you have WhatsApp, you have Snapchat. You can't avoid each other, I suppose. And lads will be doing their own little things, and I suppose everyone has their different setup. Some lads have sheep in the field, some lads have horses. You get a view of everything when lads are out doing their bit of training, like. So it's nice, I think, because it kind of motivates each other to keep going, because it is tough. You're out there doing the work by yourself, and no one sees you. It's only yourself and the piece of ground that you're running on, like. So it's nice when lads maybe share a photo to the group or something like that, and it helps keep things going along. Yeah, I suppose, well, in fairness, Sinead Bradbury has been looking after us, and it's been A1 so far. Like, we've all, I suppose, got our own, I suppose, specific things that we need to work on, be it some lads will be looking to bulk up, some lads will be looking to cut down, some lads are looking at maintaining. Like, in fairness to Sinead, like, she makes herself open all the time to us. We send her a text, or you give her a call, and it's like that. She's very easy to talk to over the phone, and it makes it so much easier for us as players that it's that engagement, and the fact that you have that at your, I suppose, disposal, that you can just go and say, look, Sinead, things have changed a bit now. I said I have a bit more time, and because as I said to you, more time can be dangerous, especially from a food point of view, because you go home in the evening from work at 5 o'clock and you're kind of like, gee, will I nibble on something now, or and I suppose for me it's been a bit easier in that I've had something solid from the start of the year, so it's been easy to follow that through. And certain lads, I'm sure, will be getting different things from Sinead in relation to probably eating that bit extra, making the most of this time, because there is extra time there, and the training load wouldn't be as tough. So it's a case of maybe this is your time now to make up the bit of ground that you were losing out at the start of the year. I never avoid the bog, so I don't. No, that's one thing I'll always be doing. I think is the bog for years to come. But I suppose the biggest thing I probably was doing was cooking, because a lot of the time you wouldn't have as much time to be doing your, like, I suppose, the dinners, the snacks, all that sort of stuff, like, John. I suppose it's helped me kind of open my eyes to new things. Like, there's a book, Davy Nutrition there, his book, I've been literally pulling recipes out of that, and John, it's very easy. I wouldn't be a master chef by any stretch of the imagination, but it's just lovely to be able to kind of go into SuperValu there in Chew and go in, pick up my few bits, go home, cook it, and then I get the approval in from Sinead then as well. I send her around a few pictures as well. And, it's just, I suppose it helps too, because we've had those kind of things where lads will be sending different things, and I know Sean McKearns was the first one that kind of opened my eyes to, I suppose, the stuff he was cooking as well. And it's just, you'd be asking the couple of lads that be doing their few bits, what's the recipe for this or that, and it's actually nice to be putting the time into the food you're eating as well. That's probably the biggest thing I've probably taken on in the more time that I've had, is probably the bit of cooking now. I've had an exam as well, so there's a bit of studying involved there too, a bit more time for that. Yeah, I suppose it was something, I always look back to, I suppose, when I was a young lad in that situation, and it's easy, I suppose, when young lads are going to games, and it's just, it's nice, I suppose, to get to meet the players on the pitch afterwards. But in a time like this where they don't have anything and they don't get to see players, and I suppose it can drain, I suppose, their motivation in some ways, or their inspiration, that they don't get to see us playing. So for me, I always look back to the time, even though it's probably 10 or 12 years ago, I remember when Paul came to talk to us in St. Charlotte's. We were getting ready for Home Cup final. I remember when he came to our training session, and those little things, even though I suppose they're small things, but they'll stick with you, that's ingrained in me. I can remember like it was yesterday. I remember when Declan Meehan came to our summer camp when I was about 10. I remember when he was there showing us a couple of drills as well. So it's just nice, I think, to be able to pass that on to players, to basically let them know that we do this all the time. This doesn't what we do on the football pitch isn't any different to what you do on the training pitch. It's just, you practice to get better, and that's what we do ourselves at home. I suppose I have a rebounder there, and it's just, you're kicking the ball against it, you're just working on your skills, because that's what's going to be tested come championship time. Oh, definitely, because as I said, this is what's going to be tested when it comes to the championship time. You have to keep doing the little bits, and for me, I don't feel like I have to do it. I want to do it, I suppose, the biggest way, because I want to try and get better. I want to be there starting for Galway. That's been my dream since I was a young lad, and what I'm doing now, I suppose, at home, I've been doing it since I was a young lad. When I was 5 or 6 and I had a ball, like I said, I was doing nearly the same things. It's repetitive. You keep trying to practice it, keep trying to make it better, and you'll add in different things to try and challenge yourself as well as you go along. And that some days you'll be very good at it, and some days it'll be tough, but that's what makes you better. You have to keep practicing the skills as you go along, and no matter from the age of 5 to the age of 27, I still will keep practicing those skills as long as I'm playing football. Yeah, I suppose, look, we're probably following the government guidelines and our health services. We just have to, I suppose, we're adhering to what they're saying to us. And it's great to hear the positive news, because I know, even from at work there, people coming in nearly day in, day out are just asking, when will the football be back? Do you think the football will be back? And I suppose it's the question on everyone's lips is the sport, because it's a huge factor, I think, in everyone's lives, that everyone looks forward to it. Everyone's looking forward to going out watching a game. And I suppose the biggest thing they've been missing is the not knowing. They're going to see a game of between Galway and Mayo, and not knowing who's going to win the game. It has been lovely to watch back games over the years, but I think it's just, when people don't know this, or when people already know the score, they would, they're kind of saying, well, I'd love to watch something that I don't know. It's great to go to the game, to feel that atmosphere again. And I suppose it's great, as I said, it's absolutely brilliant to hear the news coming. We just have to, I suppose, keep following to what we're being told to do. Yeah, no, it is. I suppose it's exciting knowing that something different is coming, and a change is always good. I always said that, and you have to be able to embrace it, and whatever way it comes about, it's probably something I've never played in before. So that's going to be excitement in itself, and again, it's more motivation for us to keep doing the few bits of training, because if it is a shorter period of time, we have to be ready for whenever it starts.